Okay, so this is lesson 8, which is writing the equation of a circle and graphing the circle from an equation. So today we're learning about like how to graph circles, much like we would learn how to graph lines, right? Quick reminder, things like if you had y equals 2x plus 6, like how do we graph this? We go to 6 as the y-intercept, and then we count the slope of rise 2, run 1. Right? Or if we had a line and we needed to write the equation, how do we work backwards? We're doing this, but instead with circles. That's the idea. But first, we're going to go ahead and talk about where the formula comes from. This is the formula for the equation of a circle. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, which sounds really complicated. So we're going to first do a little investigation to show you where that equation actually comes from. Okay? So we're going to do this first, then we'll do the analysis. So we're going to go ahead and plot the point 1, 7 and draw a radius to it. So 1, 7. We're going to go ahead and this is the point 1, 7. I'm going to label it. And we're going to draw a radius to it. A radius is the distance from the center to any point on the circle. Oh, that was kind of bad. Okay. So a circle is the set of all points the same distance from the center. Okay, so another example, say this point here, right? So we want an equation that represents every single one of these points so that when we substitute it in, then we actually know what that point is, what the solution is. But if I asked you to solve for the radius, right, we would use the Pythagorean theorem. Quickly draw in a right triangle. We would use the Pythagorean theorem, right? We do leg squared, this is a leg, plus leg squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared. Right? That's how we'd solve it. We know that the leg of this one, this is 3 units, plus this leg, 1, 2, 3, 4 units, will equal the hypotenuse squared, which in this case is actually the radius. So we know that that's how we would solve it. But if you were given only this point, this is our given, and this point, how can we still do this, right? So what we're going to do is we need to think to ourselves, if we're only given 4 and 1, what is the distance between these 2 points, right? If we want to find the distance between 2 points, we do x1 minus x2, so 1 minus 4. And then we would square it. Plus the distance between these 2 points, so 7 minus 3, and square it. And that also would give us the radius squared. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. And 7 minus 3 is 4. So if you see, and when we square this, this will end up being a positive number. This is actually the same thing as this. Okay? So why does this matter? This is actually where the formula comes from, is this line right here. This is essentially this. xy is any point on the circle. xy is a solution to the equation. So an example of that would be 1 would be x and 7 would be y. Let me do it this way. So 1 was x and 7 was y. And then to find the distance between that point and the center, we would subtract the center of the point. HK is going to be the center of the circle, H comma K. I'm actually going to highlight this orange, all of it orange. HK is the center, where H is the X coordinate of the center, and K is the Y coordinate of the center. So as you see, it was 1 minus 4 squared plus 7 minus 3 squared, and that will give us our radius squared. So this is really a fancy formula for the Pythagorean theorem. I know it's complicated. I did my best to explain it in the time that I have. So a couple quick analysis questions. Name another solution xy. So another solution would be any point on the circle, say like that point there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 7 is another solution. How do you know this is a solution graphically? Well, I picked it because it's on the circle. Because it's on the circle. How do you know it will be a solution algebraically? We would substitute 7, 7 in for x and y, and it would make it true. Right? And let's go ahead and do that. Why not, right? If we substitute 7, 7 into this equation, where h and k is actually the center of the circle, so 7 minus the center, which is 4 squared, plus 7 minus the y coordinate, 3 squared, should equal r squared, which should be 5. We know it should be 5. 7 minus 4 is 3. 7 minus 3 is 4. And once again, we get the same thing. So any point on this circle will end up doing this. 3 squared plus 4 squared will equal r squared. Okay. Go ahead and watch the next video to see how to actually use the equation.